So, hey, I want to make a video on how to deal with loneliness. So, I've been alone for not completely alone, but a lot of it is emotionally lonesome. I have my family, but they're not the most um, competent with social connections and comforting and talking and having discussions about what's going on and making it feel meaningful and making it feel meaningful and caring when having a discussion. They're inarticulate and not the most self-aware individuals. So I've been alone for like 4 years practically, and except for like I had a torture it would have been better. I had a neighbor that could I could hear through the window from my house to theirs, and they tortured me for a year, and now I'm here at this house, dealing with up and down, just feeling lonely and feeling bad and just being meaningless and just wanting escape and just wanting to take more drugs and just laying around and not getting a whole lot done. But my days, I'm not feeling bad right now. It's like you gotta fill your time, your day with stuff to do. I think primarily you need to get your ass moving, and you need to get facing some challenge and doing some shit that you don't want to do, doing something that you're uncomfortable, going an extra mile, running somewhere that you haven't been before, going to the gym and doing certain lifts and progressing with that, doing a lift or a max lift that you don't want. But getting through loneliness, a lot of it is not just caring for yourself or being kind to yourself. For me, this social media thing has been one of the best things. I get on here, I start the podcast up, and I talk and I discuss and I figure out ideas. I think what you need is time to express yourself. People, what they do is they add opportunities for you to perform, for you to speak, for you to act, and then they give you signals and indications of where you're at, and that builds sanity. And people lose their sanity when they lose track of who they are and what the point is and what they're moving towards. So it's like, I think primarily to deal with loneliness is like have an exercise regime. Like you're just gonna feel a lot better. You're not going to seek a lot of seeking out other people is you're in pain, and other people could ease that pain and distract you, and to some degree distract you from what you should be paying attention to, your emotions, your feelings, and the why and the how. Exercising keeps your mood up. It gives you a thing to do throughout the day. You got like 2 hours or more that you could be running and lifting, and mood and all that. So having a place with like a podcast, start a podcast, get on YouTube, start making videos, start building up a place that you can communicate with other people. I know it seems like the space is taken up and all that, but there's so many people that like there will be people that can pay attention to you at some point as you build it up. So like have time that you spend recording yourself, videoing, podcasting, whatever, and talking to the mic and speak, and then listen to it afterwards and see whether or not it was entertaining, whether or not it was useful. Like, get your impression of yourself and analyze yourself. You need to keep on thinking. You need to keep on formulating ideas. If you're alone and you're not speaking much, you're stagnating and you're getting worse at communicating. And having the video, you don't have to do it with a video. It's just hard to keep track of your progress. You can just talk to yourself on occasion, which can be pretty difficult. It's a skill to learn. It's pretty difficult to talk by yourself and have any meaningful conversations. But if you build it up, like, with the added, like, if you make a social media business and you post online, like, you have this documentation of your thoughts and your feelings, and you can go through that and you can look at it and you can remind yourself of certain things that you would like, goals, dreams, opinions, directions that you would like to go in life. Music is a great thing. If you can do music, if you can learn to play an instrument, if you can learn to sing, that will give you an extra form of expressing yourself. Art, whatevs, like anything that you can just create, just being able to create and keep your mind focused on something. When you wake up in the morning, you should have something to do. You should have something to wake you up, and you should have something to keep your mind going. So journaling is a really great one. Keeping track of your emotions, writing down, and it can lead to these epiphanies of what you should or shouldn't do. Whether it's 15 minutes to an hour or 30 minutes, spend some time journaling, spend some time writing down your thoughts and analyze them. Read your journal every now and then. The feeling of loneliness, it's sort of like the feeling of meaninglessness. It's like, I don't have someone else to, like, you need a relationship. It's really good to have, like, for your sanity, to have like a long-term relationship where someone else is keeping track of you, and there's reputation, and like whether you do good or whether you do bad affects their opinion, and they're going to help you orientate yourself. But when you don't have someone to keep track of yourself, you have to keep track of yourself for yourself, and you need to judge yourself, and you need to analyze yourself, and you need to give yourself feedback. So recording, writing, journaling, meditation will help you deal with the loneliness. It'll calm you down. It'll help you reflect. It'll help you deal with depression. Increasing your mindfulness in general, like, can prevent you from, it can make you focus on what to do and what you're doing instead of focusing on the pain. It can help you get away from just this cycle of self-defeatism or calling yourself an idiot or whatever it be. But like, I don't think loneliness is generally a problem of self-defeatism. Just maybe a sense of not feeling worthy or not feeling good enough. Try to get out, like the gym, or go to a local bar, or get to a public gathering place, and like, put yourself out there, meet people, have a 5-minute conversation with a random person that you say hi to in a grocery store. Like, practice meeting people. Get out of your comfort zone a little bit. It's important that you work on yourself while you are alone. You want to be working on your mind, your body, and your future possibilities of what you could obtain and how able you are and what you can get done and how competent you are. So you're going to be either stagnating or you're going to be growing. And if you're growing, when the people do come into your life or when the people are around that could fit your personality and potentially be friends, you might actually be ready. You might be ready for that person, and they'll be able to tell to some degree whether or not you've been responsible or irresponsible. And like, if you've been irresponsible, you can't take care of yourself, then other people might just see you as a burden and not want to be friends with you. But if you're doing something good for yourself, then people might see you as a benefit, and or at the very least not a deficit. And like, people weigh the potential of who you are. Like, people are, one thing that people are is just a bag of snakes. Like, you're just filled with problems, and meeting you and accepting you into their life is going to be a big decision. And it could potentially, if you're narcissistic or if you're not maladaptive in some way, it could lead to them having to go through years of therapy or just this emotional dysregulation that is irritating and annoying. It's like, try not to be too much of a problem. Now, I know that's difficult because it's like, you want someone to, it's hard. It's like finding that balance. It's finding the right person that gives a shit. It's finding someone that can care. And that can be very difficult. Like, a lot of people are just looking for you to be excellent. They're looking for you to be winning in some way. And they're not thinking about how, it's like, what benefit do you give to them? They're not thinking about how they could help someone else. It depends. I know I'm overgeneralizing, but if you're alone, you should keep your consumption of things to a minimum, and you should keep the production of things to a maximum. You will get a sense of meaning and a sense of well-being and orientation in the world by picking a standard and then shooting for it. Go for a goal. Have your whole day filled out. Don't have any idle time. Don't just mindlessly scroll through the internet. Like, if you're going to do that, set aside an hour that you're going to do that and just have fun. But primarily what you should be doing is trying to learn how to articulate and control yourself and control your thoughts and orientate your mind, and reading books to gain more knowledge. You're probably going to get depressed, you're probably going to get sad, you're going to feel this intense craving for people, and the running, the lifting, the meditation, all these things are going to help settle your mind and bring you to a calm state and release your stress and make you better off than you would be if not. When you're alone, it's like you have a great opportunity. You have this really great opportunity. A lot of people, they never get to be alone. It's actually a blessing in some sense to have a season of your life that is alone. You get to find yourself. You get to ask yourself questions. You get to figure out what you like, what you want, how you'd like to shape your character. And it would be a waste to just not just mindlessly entertain yourself, and then in a year it's like where you're at, and like the same or worse off, and just addicted to social media and drugs or whatever it be, just mindless pleasures, eating, all that. Like, people eat, they take drugs, they masturbate, or watch porn, or play video games. These things, as though there's to some degree that these can fit within to a healthy life, mostly I think what is going on when people partake in these activities is they have a sense of meaninglessness. They just like, what are you gonna do? And it's like, oh, I just want to have pleasure or whatevs. And really what you want to be is happy, and the way that you find happiness is contrast. You need context. So you're where you're at now. Where could you be in a year? How strong, able, witty, calm, controlled, careful, consistent, hardworking could you be in a year? Are you going to waste the year, or are you going to make some progress? Like, even just the smallest thing. You can just decide to work on one thing. I'm going to practice guitar, and I'm going to practice every single day. And I'm going to start with 5 minutes and do that every single day. And then it'll turn into 10 minutes and 30 minutes and an hour, maybe 2 hours. And it'll teach you how to master one skill. And once you've mastered one skill, it'll allow you to scale that to a different subject, to a different skill. And you'll be able to make progress in different areas. So pick one thing, get really good at it. It could be music, it could be writing, it could be drawing, it could be athletics. Have something that you create, have something that you work out, and try to avoid too much media consumption. It can just, like, though it can be inspiring, though it can give you it can give you a sense of meaning. And like, I loved it when there was all these Star Wars shows that were out that I could just watch, and that adds a little bit of meaning. But just waiting around for the next show is a miserable thing, because like, you're just gonna be miserable for 6 months while you wait for the next show, or are you gonna do something? And like, the things in life of like movies and video games and all these things and porn, these things pale in comparison to the meaning and fun that you have when you set goals throughout your day, and you have like 5-6 good habits. You like have a cold shower, you go out on a walk, you sit after that, you like sit down next to a tree and you start writing, and you get home, maybe you have a kettlebell, you do some squats, you do some shoulder presses, do some kettlebell swings. Like, you're growing some muscle, you're looking better, you're writing, you're starting to understand yourself a little bit more and getting better at communicating to others. You're doing a podcast or whatever, so you're getting better at articulating yourself, and you're keeping yourself able to formulate ideas so that when you meet somebody, you can actually offer some value to them and they might accept you. B, you're meditating, you're increasing your conscientiousness, your ability to control your emotions, to notice your thoughts and direct them towards positive or useful things. It's easy to just let your thoughts be your thoughts, and just for every thought, one positive thought, you're gonna have 1,000 negative thoughts. And really the best thing is just to be busy doing what you need to do. A run, a lift, some writing, some meditation, maybe some yoga, maybe a bike ride, maybe a walk. Practice some art, practice some music. Doing a prayer could be useful. Just sitting there and like, God, thank you for the food that feeds me and the house that shelters me, that I am safe and that this country is prospering, that I have the opportunity to advance forward in my life and find meaning, that the water works and I don't have to work tirelessly to hydrate and feed myself, that we're not at constant war with somebody, that we're not starving, that even if I'm homeless, there is resources and things to gather. This is for, I guess, if you live in the US, but thank you for the beauty and opportunity to be on this earth and see the nature and the rarity, that and unlikeliness that out of the billions of people who could have been my father to me, that I was the one that happened to be the winner of that sperm race and got to be on this planet and have this unlikely chance to play the game and maybe even win. But yeah, that's the video.